Hi guys, join me for part 2 of my Craft With Me video featuring our how to make these friendship journals using Jane Davenport's supplies. I showed you last time how to make the accordion insert and the cover. Today we're working on our journal booklet. So I pulled a book page here. I've also pulled a few other sheets of paper like a notepad, envelopes, some stationery sheets, and also some blank sketch paper. So I'm going to be selecting some of these and adding them into our booklet. But first, I want to use this book page as the base. I'm going to fold it over and create a pocket. I love the pattern on the opposite side there. I'm going to fold it in half and I am going to cut it to 5 3/4 down and 3 3/4 of an inch across. I'm also thinking of putting that pattern paper, the image there, on the cover. But first, let me cut this to size and we will work on the details of our little booklet. So if you haven't seen part 1, I'll put it in the description box. Join us for a little crafting session and let's use up our stash. So again, I'm cutting this at the top 3 3/4 of an inch. Now we're cutting it a little smaller because our cover is 4 by 6 and we don't want the booklet to stick out. So now that we've cut that to size, I'm going to possibly use some of these remnants for another project and maybe pocket tags. So here I think I'm going to stitch it around, and first I'm thinking of rounding off the edges so it looks a little cleaner. I like the round edge booklet. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to add some paper, but first I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. So I really like this image. I'm probably going to fuzzy cut it out and glue it on top. I love her little collar there. So let me stitch this. Before I do that, I just eyed a few of my remaining scraps here from the sheet that I cut out for my cover. And I thought I'd add a couple more pockets at the lower portion of our cover. So I'm just marking it. And again, I'm going to cut it to size and stitch it all around so that our pockets are secure. So no paper will be wasted. I'm going to use as much as I can. And in this case, I'm adding it as pockets to our little booklet. So I'm excited to see how this all comes together. I hope you guys are enjoying these Craft With Me sessions. I'm planning to do a few other different segments. I'll have a journal with me video, also do a other like hauls occasionally, and feature a little more collage with me videos as well. So now I'm just putting these here to see if the size is right. And then we're going to make sure that it just sits well. So here it is. I've already stitched around our page and a little bit in the center to hold our pocket. And I have my little insert here that fits perfectly in there. I might put it in there. I'm still thinking about it. And in the front, I've decided to add some pink tulle and kind of ruffled them. I thought it fit and matched her collar. And the little brightness looks really nice together with this beautiful image. So I fuzzy cut that. I'm going to cut it to size. And I'm also trying to decide what to put on the back. And I really like this one that says, "Make time for art." I also like the floral image on that paper. So let me just put our image on the front cover. I've already put some double side tape in the back. I'm just going to cut it to size. And I think it fits perfectly. We're going to stick that on. And I love that the text is showing through on the back on the right side there. So yeah, I've been enjoying using these double-sided tape. I also like to use glue and Fabri-Tac, but for my paper crafting, I noticed that I've been using more of a double side. Which is your favorite adhesive? Comment below. So yeah, we are going to attach this and work on our pages next. Now let me just center this and make sure we have it where we would like it to be. And I'm just going to press it down, make sure that's all secure. So we have that part done. Now it's time to measure the size here for our back cover. So I'm just going to mark it here at the top and then again cut it to size and then glue it on. So the other two goodies that we are preparing for this friendship journal will be a postcard, and I'm also going to work on a couple artist trading coins. So I did one for my last swap with Eleanor. It was some Happy Mail I'd sent her, and I really enjoyed making those artist trading coins. And I used some of Jane's washi tape, so we'll be making some of those today as well. So I'm just going to trim. It looks like we have a little extra paper there, and I am going to put that. I think that looks great. Make time for your art. Really nice, and I like the florals at the other half of the sheet. Just going to round it off, and I think this will look perfect. So now I'm just going to speed through some of the parts here so that we can also move on to the other parts of our project. So what are you guys working on in terms of spring projects? I'm currently revisiting my little golden books and planning to make, since we're talking about friendship journals, I thought I would make a snail mail booklet, kind of putting all the letters I've received in the last few years of creative swaps, and I'll be sharing that soon. So I thought that would be a great way to document some of the letters and some of the wonderful things my snail mail friends have shared with me. What other projects? I think I'm gonna work on more junk journal booklets and journaling entries as well. So now I have picked some of my pages here. I've cut it to size again, and these will be a little smaller, about 1/4 of an inch smaller than our cover. So it's going to be 3.5 by 5.5 inches. And next step is to bind it, and I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers binding tool here that I just purchased recently. I wanted to try it out, and it works pretty well. I've been enjoying it. It's a great tool. No guesswork for the places to punch, and it has this wonderful piece here that holds the paper down. In terms of how many pages it can hold, so far with some of the thinner pages I could put up to 15 pages. Like if you've seen my junk journal challenge with Pink Odd Bird, I think I had at least 15 or 16 pages, and I was able to punch through it. They were fairly thin. In this case, I have less than that, but it works pretty well. So I'm just poking the middle, finding the center here, what works best with this little signature that we're going to add to our booklet. And I'm going to sew it up. So I have some of these waxed thread that came with a little kit that I also got from Amazon, and I think it works pretty well. It's a little bit thicker, so I would, if you have something a little bit smaller, I'd suggest regular embroidery floss thread, or regular thread is fine to hold your booklet together. It's fairly small and thin, but this one works really well as well. So I went through the first hole, and then the second one, we're going through the first hole there again, And then we are going to run our thread through the third hole that we have there. It's a little hard to sew while filming. I can barely see this, so I have to kind of put it at an angle where I can see where I'm putting my needle point there. So just gonna bind this together, and then I'm gonna tie it up and then see how this all looks like. So I'm gonna go through the middle again, and then we're going to go in from the back here, the third one, and then we're gonna tie a knot and finish our booklet. So I'm just tying a knot here, and I like the color of this. It has like a little bit of gold yellow hue to it. So we have that set. I'm gonna trim that, and then we're gonna work on the next part, is putting it inside our cover. So I don't know if you guys do this as well. After I stitch something, I want to go through each page and kind of press down to make sure all the pages are fine and sitting well. So I'm just going through some of the pages, and it's a great time to look and see if they're centered and they're fine. So we have our pages here. Again, I also rounded off the corners of the pages of this little booklet so that they're uniformed. I've left some of them square like that one there. And we have like a small little sketch page there that's also square. So I'm just folding it down, making sure everything is aligned. And then let's look at our back. Looks good. So now I'm going to pull my cover here and see if it fits in. Let's see for sizing. I think it looks good. It fits pretty well in there. The next step is to get, I'm thinking of punching a couple holes here at the top and bottom. And I think I'm going to use an elastic to do that. So I have my little crocodile here. The other one was too big, so I'm going to use the smaller punch there, and about 1/4 of an inch from the top we are going to punch it right there. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom of our cover. So once you get that punched, you can definitely, if you don't want to stitch your booklet, you can definitely staple it, use a stapler. I have some extra elastic left over from a previous project that I can use, and I like the yellow color as well. It's a nice vibrant color that matches the paper. So I'm going to use this, and I'm just adjusting it and going to tie it to make sure it's not too tight. And it'll fit perfectly in here. So I'm just gonna knot it. Now that we have the knot, I'm going to test it out and put our little booklet in. So I'm finding the center of my little journal booklet, and let's put it in here. Looks like it fits. It does. Okay, so let's close that up and see how that looks. I think it's perfect. So now I'm gonna trim the elastic now that I'm confident that it's the perfect tightness and size there. I don't need extra elastic sticking out, so we're going to do that. Let's have a look. Now the last thing I'm going to do is put a pocket here in our cover, at least for this part. And I don't want to cover that image, so I'm using this Target clear pocket, and I think it's perfect. I'm trying to decide if it should be top loading, side loading, and I think I'm going to be doing a side loading pocket here. So I'm just going to see. So I love that once you have that on top, you still see the artwork in the background. It's such a beautiful piece, so I don't want to cover it up with paper. So I'm planning to put my artist trading coins in this pocket. So I think it'll be the perfect spot for it. So now let's work on our artist trading coins. I pulled out some of my supplies here. I'll be using my 2.5-inch punch. Also going to be using this washi set here. Have some pattern paper to choose from. And I'm also going to be using some of my word stamps here. And there's another one here that I really like, so I'm going to be using this one. So now I'm going to test out my little sample punch here, circle punch, and see if it fits in our pocket. And it does, so we are ready to create. So now let's pick the pattern paper. I love Jane's paper because for this project, for example, I'm not going to be able to paint. I'm going to make it as simple as possible, and we have so many options. Like here's one where the patterns have that mixed media finish. I am just using my punch to frame it to see what I'd like to see on that artist coin. So I'm going to trim it. I like the pattern here with the butterflies and would like to make sure that image comes out when I punch the paper. So normally when I do this, I don't punch the circle out yet. I'm just using it to frame. Use it as a frame to see, is that what I want to see there? So I think I like that. I like the background. And for the back side of the coin, I think I'm going to use this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to punch that. So we're going to use that as the back side of our coin. I like the pink kind of watercolor look there. So let's just look at this. There's some pink on the front there, so I think it'll match perfectly. It'll go to the back. So now let's have a look and see what we can put on top of this. Really like that. I might consider that. I really like this one as well with the purple hues. And I've also pulled a few other sheets here with some words. Did a little bit of stamping. And here are some really old vintage book pages that I'd like to use. Here's another blue one, and I did a little stamping there as well. So now I'm trying to think, I want to incorporate some of this vintage paper. And I've seen the word, I'm just flipping it over to see what would fit the theme. So I'm just looking here. We have a couple. So it's from a vintage, like children's book. So let's have a look. I found a spot here that says eyes and face, and I thought that would be a great match for the theme I'm going for. So I'm doing a quick tear, and I am going to glue this on our paper. It's a very delicate piece, so I'm just, again, framing it there to see how it looks. And now a little bit Elmer's glue that I'm putting on the pattern paper, because the paper, the vintage paper is very thin and fragile, so I don't want to break it. So now that we have that there, it's time to select our washi. But first, a little distressing here at the edges of our paper there. And now we're going to select some of the washi we're going to be using for this particular artist coin. I have it all mixed up, so I am just matching. They have different sizes. I think this one came with 3 different face and eye sizes, so trying to find the right image. There we go. So we have that. So now I'm just going to, I'm going to start, I think, with the mouth here. Again, I am not great with illustrating faces. I love Jane's face stamps. It's a great base and tool to use if you're still learning to illustrate. And these are wonderful for these mixed media projects because the face is already drawn, and you can mix it with different pattern papers. It has such beautiful colors here. So now that we have the face, that's looking pretty good. I feel like the top side of her forehead is empty, so I am going to add our little word sentiment here. Just going to trim that, and we're going to glue it on top to complete the look of our coin. Here we go. I'm going to apply some glue to that and sending this beautiful card, artist coin, to a friend. I'm excited for her to receive it. A little spring happy mail. Okay, now that we have that, so this stamp says "You radiate beauty," and I think it's beautiful. Look at that. So now we're ready to stamp it, punch it out here. And we've just completed our first trading coin. Now we're going to attach the backing, and I've decided to use some double-side tape. You can definitely use glue, it doesn't matter. Both adhesives work pretty well for this project. I just decided to use this one. It's just a quicker dry, and it's funny how when I decide to trim my nails, I do a project and I have the hardest time peeling the backings of these double-side tape. So here we go. That is complete. We got our first coin. Now for a second coin, I have some pattern paper and I want to use these rub-off stickers. I like this yellow as well to have some brightness in there, but we'll see, again using my punch to see if that is a good paper pattern for this next coin. Let's have a look and see what kind of stickers we have in this set. I've been eyeing a few here. That is so pretty. I love that word sentiment there at the top, and I'm just gonna cut this to size and see what else we have here. We also have these collage stickers here, and they come in different colors and shapes. There's some crowns as well and stars. I like that diamond and a heart. So now let's pick which of these stickers to use. I like that laughter sentiment or saying there. Then there's this image of a girl kind of half laughing, and I really like the girl with the crown, just like the one in the cover. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. And then we're going to use this one here with the mint. I'm just going to cut that out as well. And then we shall experiment and see which pattern paper works best. So I'm just laying out the pieces to see how they're going to sit on our coin. And now that I have that paper punched there, I'm using it as a frame instead of my punch tool. Now here's another one that I really like. I like the purple colors and the heart. So I'm just trying to see if that will work well with these three other pieces. And just kind of making sure that everything is in frame. So now the next part is to cut this again to a certain size so I can punch it. Oh, I just tore that sticker, but no worries, it's going to be at the bottom of our collage. Now I just noticed that kind of really just blended in, and you can't quite see the heart. But let's see how this rub-off sticker comes off and see how it works with our collage here. Let's peel that off. There you go, one down. And here's that beautiful image of that girl with the crown. Now I'm leaving the back of the coin blank because my friend can definitely use it as a journaling spot, and I'd like to give her a chance to see if she'd also like to use some of these coins. Would be great embellishments for a tag or for your cover, and also small little journal cards. So here is a closer look at our first one. There's the word eyes and faces. And here's the second one. It says, the joy of living is enough. So you see the heart and the star there. Here's what the back side looks like. So now we got the two. Let's put them in our clear pocket. Oh, they look wonderful. I think that fits well. So now let's make our postcard. So I have this die and it's in the shape of a stamp. I really like, again, this paper, so I want to use this pattern paper. Love, again, the pink and purple hues. And then I have a few of these sheets that I probably will use for the backing of our little postcard. So I'm going to go ahead and pick which side. I'm going to run this in my Cuttlebug tool, and I'll be right back. So we'll put it in here, and I'm going to have to do the same to one of the other pattern papers. So here we have both of them. I'm going to put that back to back. I'm going to adhere that in just a sec. So I have that other sheet of vintage book page that I want to use. I'm going to use a portion of it to add to our postcard here. So I'm just trimming it just a little bit more, and I want the sides and corners to look clean, and I'm going to do a tear. So again, there's some beautiful words on the text. It says graceful body, and it was actually referring to a fawn, but I thought it would just fit well with the image that I have or in mind that I'm going to be putting on top of this postcard. Applying some distress ink to our little vintage paper, and then I'm going to glue that on there. Now that we have that, the next step is to look at our faces. So I'm going to go size up. This is the medium size of her washi tape, and has so many varieties of faces here. There was one that I really like. Trying to spot it. There it is. So now trying to find the mouth. So I'm going to start this time with the eyes and going from the top, kind of following the shape of that paper tear there. So we have those beautiful eyes, and I love the blush on her cheeks. Now, just going to align this. And kind of, it tore off a little bit and kind of took out some of the text there. But that's okay. I'm going to fix it in just a little bit. And now we're putting the mouth. Again, just lining it up. So now I'm going to just put a little distress ink on that spot there. Now remember that piece of paper that I used for the other artist coin. I really love, again, the colors, so I thought I'd add it on. And made a discovery here. This is why I love Jane's paper. There's so many things you can make and utilize. In this case, if you look here, that piece of paper, there's a line that lines up with her jawline, so it kind of creates an illusion that that's her hair, her hairline. So here it is. I'm just adding now some of the washi strips that she has there to complete our little postcard. And I'm going to add some word sentiments here right in the middle, and it says beautiful friend. So I'm just going to glue that on. I love the serene look in her eyes. There's just a sense of peace and just beautiful. She's just beautiful. So beautiful friend, now we're going to glue this and have a closer look at our completed, here it is, postcard. So in the back, I just put a little sticker for her to journal on as well. So now let's have a look at what we completed. We have our cover. I'm just going to put this stamp postcard in my booklet. Here are our artist trading coins in our clear pocket. I think I'm going to put this in our top pocket, and I think it should fit in perfectly. Look at those colors. I'm going to do a separate video, probably a pen pal with me, to decorate some of the pages in our booklet, and that's our accordion insert in the back. Hope you guys enjoyed this craft with me video. Thanks again for watching Karamia's Corner. See you next time. Bye.